It's a real nuts to butt situation.
Who's nuts? Who's butts? If you're listening right now, Rougarou guy, you're all right, dude. I'm really disappointed, man. And it starts with the garbage can that's Kevin Warren, okay? I know this is beyond just the schedule, but this is because of him too. You saw that the Big Ten's having to pay back money, right, because of his crappy deal. And I don't know if it's because he didn't know or because he just didn't care. Either way, it sucks. Like, we got to pay back $40 million to Fox, the conference does, because he gave away the 2026 Big Ten Championship to NBC when he didn't have the rights to do so. So we got to give them $40 million. $25 million lost revenue because of the COVID season, which is whatever. I mean, it is what it is. And an unquestionable amount of money because NBC wants November primetime games, which is where this comes in for Michigan State.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the BD Sports Talk Podcast, Episode 2. My name is Bill, one of your hosts, along with brothers Eddie and Dean. Fellas, how you guys doing?
What up?
What up? Doing good, man. Not as good as Dean, but doing pretty good.
Yeah.
You guys do anything fun this weekend?
Just played a bunch of terrible golf. That's about it.
Yeah.
That sounds about right for you, man.
130
I played-
all weekend.
You know, had a few beers, threw a few bags, you know, hung out with the kids, nothing crazy. Didn't you go to Cedar Point, big dog?
I did. A lot of fun. Looking forward to going back here at some point. That does bring up the point I saw that I wanted to ask you guys about. Saw someone walking as I was walking through the park. I never saw it again. I only saw the one dude, but he was wearing a football jersey that said one of the rides on it said Rougarou. I keep laughing because it said Rougarou on it, and so I started thinking, like, out of all the things to buy at Cedar Point, like shirt, sweatshirt.
Oh, that's the name of a ride.
Yeah, that's the name of a ride.
Yeah.
He's wearing the jersey. Yeah.
Well, is it?
Go ahead.
Is it like a practice jersey, like one of the mesh tops?
He's like, it goes perfect with my Millennium Force tramp stamp.
It's like, it's so hot out here. Let me put on my mesh Rougarou jersey.
My Rougarou jersey, bro.
I bought this 3 years ago.
Hey, man. If you're listening right now, Rougarou guy, you're all right, dude. All right. You know, we all love a ride, you know.
Wear what you want. Wear what you want.
Hey, wear what you want, baby.
But
I wouldn't wear that.
No, like, out of all
It's
the
a
things,
crazy item to buy.
right?
Out of all the things, like you said, you could have bought a T-shirt, a hat,
He's like,
a sweatshirt.
we're at Cedar Point. You only live once, baby.
Rougarou.
Where's that Rougarou? Wow.
Can I get 69 on this jersey or what? They're like, sir, you're at Cedar Point.
Sir.
That's right.
Like, you know that jersey probably costs
Oh,
a
for
good
sure.
$70, right? And you know, it's like the only jersey I'm ever gonna buy is a Barry Sanders jersey. It ain't gonna be no Rougarou.
Can you customize the name on the back of the Rougarou jersey?
I didn't look behind me.
Oh,
I just
man.
kept looking straight forward. Which
That
also,
I love it.
which also got me thinking. So we stayed there overnight, and when you stay at one of the hotels, you get early entry. And so we were there, and
Oh, on the Cedar Point premises.
yeah,
This
yeah,
isn't a plug. They're not a sponsor.
no, not. But
Not yet.
Feel the
annual
force.
passes on. I will wear the Rougarou jersey.
I will
Yeah.
wear it.
Yeah,
you
if they have
ask me.
interest, yeah, I'll wear a Rougarou jersey every
Yeah,
time.
I'll wear
Love it.
As long as it's a
Um,
practice mesh top, that's all. That's all I'm asking.
So before the rides opened, before they started early entry, they actually had the national anthem. Like they made everybody. They're like, before we open, we want to honor our country, and it was Memorial Day, so or the day
Right.
before Memorial Day. But I think they do it every morning. I'm pretty sure. I've been there once in 13 years, so
Right. You went
Yeah, no
on
kidding,
Memorial Day
man.
weekend.
Anyways, so it got me
Besides the-
thinking. So we're the national anthem's going and whatnot, and being former wrestlers, like they would play it before games, football games, whatever. It got you going, right? I mean, so I'm watching people, and I'm kind of I'm not like I'm not Brock Lesnaring it, but I'm kind of like, all right, here we go.
Back off.
Can I keep the sweatpants on for just a little longer? I'm ready to go. Start slapping
You got
yourself.
your tearaway pants on that you rip off.
Let's
You should
ride.
get in the line. Oh, anyhow.
Sure, you can't bring a baby carrot out here on the mat.
So anyways, so I'm looking around, and there's like 5-6 other people kind of getting jacked up for these rides. They're kind of moving and whatnot. And I started thinking, like, man, is that like top 5 one of the most like songs to get you jacked up, ready to go?
The national anthem?
Think about it.
I mean,
before a football game, before a
I
wrestling
think about
meet.
sporting events when it, because it does play at every single sporting event, but I don't know if it gets
Wow,
me
dude.
jacked up.
I think about America and the sacrifices that have been made on our behalf, and you think
Thank
about
you,
sports. That's nice.
You're right.
Real nice.
You're right.
God bless America.
Well, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
I hear you, Bill. I mean, yeah, there is something to it.
Right?
It's the whole thing before the game. I mean, you saw Nick Sirianni crying before the Super
Weeping.
Bowl. I mean, and that's all right. He was feeling all the emotions. That was
Yeah.
a pretty good
That would
rendition
be
of
a
the.
pretty big emotional moment right there. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, you could probably put it up there, right next to "Pony" by Genuine.
I agree.
Because that gets me going.
So, anyways, that's just a couple thoughts on that. But before we get going, if you like what you see today, as always, hit the like button, subscribe, comment, anything we need to work on or anything you want to talk about, things like that. We can definitely get to them. We're now
Anything Bill needs to work on, for sure. Let us know. I'm good
for
to
sure. Please.
Yeah, I don't like criticism.
Yeah.
Don't give me any.
You know what? Give it to me. It's okay. I'll take it. You just leave my brothers alone.
Yeah.
Thanks, big bro.
Hey, name that handle on Twitter so they can follow that too.
It's at BDE Sports Talk.
Oh yeah.
So feel free to follow there. Also, if you want to listen on Spotify, if you're driving and you don't want to watch, you just don't want to see my ugly face, you can listen to Spotify. Other than that, you guys got anything before we get into today's episode?
No, man, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Let's get it going. The Cedar Point stuff really got me fired up.
Yeah.
Let's knock it out.
Went a little long on that.
It's not good at all.
I just thought the
Sorry.
Jersey thing. I was like, man,
That was pretty good.
That's wild.
yeah.
Do you?
So,
Do you?
yeah. I'm not gonna hate on
It's
you.
his money,
Right.
What do I care?
Right.
Where'd you want?
It's dumb.
Spend $70 on a jersey.
No.
That's
But do
that's
you?
fair.
Do you?
But do you?
He's entitled to those decisions.
So real quick, we'll get into a little bit of Tigers talk today, and then we'll get a little Lions. Do a little bit of that, and we'll get into MSU, U of M, and see where we're at. So we'll start with the Tigers, and they lost yesterday, so I don't know if they're a game and a half back now, but I mean they're within 2 games now, which you didn't really think that was going to happen at the beginning of the year, right? I mean, it's almost like it's going to be
for
another
sure.
rebuild year.
They started off slow, and
Well, don't be fooled. It is. It's still a rebuild year. I
Oh,
mean,
for sure.
and it's
we
so
play,
early too.
what's the thing I keep hearing? We're playing in the AL Comedy Central. Ha 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 ha. Like, like the Central sucks, dude. I mean, we're 2 games out of first as it stands as we record. And I don't know, man. I mean, they're testing me on this because we're coming up to a point where we got to start talking about, are we buying or selling? And we definitely don't have a playoff winning team as it stands without some kind of serious luck and a miracle.
And a serious hot streak.
But at the same time, if you're coming up to the deadline and you're still 2 games out of first, now you got decisions to make. But I don't know. Where you guys at on that, man?
I mean, like you said, the Central's not very good. I think they have a shot just as any. I feel like almost anybody else in that division. Almost, man, buying and selling. I mean, you're not giving away pieces, like future pieces to try to win.
We don't really have we don't have future pieces to give away. Anyway,
right.
We would be we'd be trading, we'd be mortgaging draft picks or whatever they would take. I mean, we got, I don't know, there's a couple guys in AAA. I mean, but that's it. You can't trade freaking Riley Green if you're planning to win anything in the future. The kid's been on fire. He had the highest batting average in May in baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, but he can't do that the rest of the year. He can't hit 386.
Right.
Or whatever
Probably
that was.
Not. Right, yeah.
Probably. I mean, yeah.
I mean, Chris Shelton fell off pretty quickly too,
Yeah.
Babe Ruth-like numbers, and then dude just disappeared.
Riley Green's pretty good though.
They needed that.
I mean, he's been a stud, dude, for sure.
So
I don't know.
If with that said, then say we're getting into August, right? And they're within earshot of winning the division, and Miggy's still hitting 190. You know what I mean? I mean, who knows? He may catch fire in a couple months. Do you still play him? Like, do you still hit him?
Nah, bro. Nah. I mean, if we're in August and we're that close, then he shouldn't have been playing already.
Right.
Like he's hitting 169. I mean, is he even gonna hit 5 home runs this year?
Right.
I mean, when I check my notes, he's at 0 still. Yeah. And hitting 169. Like, I love Miggy, and we all appreciate all the stuff he did, man. I mean, he gave some special seasons, and you can't beat around the bush on that, and he deserves his due. All that, but dude, he's got a negative 0.09 WAR right now. He's hurting us when he plays.
Right.
Like he's actively hurting us when he plays.
Yeah.
And there's other guys that you can give a shot. Kerry Carpenter's coming back soon. There's the kid in AAA. I mean, who knows? Justin Henry Malloy, he's got 7 home runs, hitting 281. Like, give that kid a shot. He could sub in at DH. They've had Torkelson switching DH with Ibanez and going first, and then Miggy gets in there, whatever. And Ibanez is okay. I mean, he deserves to get some swings. He's doing better than Miggy.
Yeah.
But let Miggy trot out there every, 8 games, get his waves in, say goodbye to whatever crowd he's in front of, and roll him out. I mean, he obviously didn't take it serious. He came in, in the worst shape I've seen him in a couple of years. He went back to like a couple of years ago, Miggy, and then he got in shape and hit pretty good. And then he came back this year knowing as his last year, and he's like, screw it. We're going to suck.
Probably,
Which you look at the roster, he probably felt that way.
Right. Didn't think they'd be. I mean, given it's still super early in the season, I mean, they still are only, at least as we record, 2 games out of first, which is, I mean, who would have thought? I mean, I would have thought they would have just been at the bottom from start to finish.
For sure,
you know.
I mean,
but I agree with you that Miggy should probably be out of the lineup. Given, I mean, yeah, he is probably hurting him, but who else is hitting that well anyway? You might as well let the dude play out his season. You know what I mean? I mean, he's done. We're going to get plenty of cap room when he's gone.
You could bring up a lot of guys that are going to do better than 169. At least some. Maybe not a lot, but some. I mean,
you gotta. I feel like you gotta play him. Like you're still, for one, paying him money.
You're not completely sitting him, but
right. That's what I'm saying. Trot him out there. Let him get the waves. That's what people are there for, right? I mean, if they want to see Miggy, it's just to be like, hey, goodbye. Like thanks for the memories, and
unless he just turns it around and has some miracle last season where he really cares, and you never know. I mean, you never know. He could just all of a sudden just start hitting, maybe like 230, 240. Maybe end up with like.
Yeah, and if I wish hard enough, $1 million might fall in my lap.
There's a lot of games left.
Dude,
that's all I mean, you know what I mean?
All right.
There's like 120 left? 100?
I mean, there's no way he gets above 220 would be great at this point.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic.
Okay. We were talking about August. Yeah. I mean, 220 from here on out.
So I mean, you're talking about the whole 169, and then we'll just move on to a 220 from here.
I mean,
heck yes.
Dude, if you're fast forwarding to August, I mean, we're skipping over the big stuff too. No. Like if we're a couple games out in August, then if Miggy's still regularly playing in that lineup, then that means we've given up on making the playoffs. Unless he has the miracle, the aforementioned miracle. It could happen. Sure, it could.
He's still a Triple Crown guy,
No, man.
He's not still. I'm saying he was a Triple Crown.
Still a Triple
he
Crown
has
guy.
the hand-eye coordination. It's just the bat speed isn't there anymore.
Yeah, I mean
that's a lot.
Pretty important.
I haven't watched a lot of games lately because I've just been busy and whatnot. But man, every time I watch him play, he's either striking out. I don't know if I've seen him pull a ball in like a season and a half, to be completely honest. I think everything's been opposite field.
Intentional.
Well, that's that Bat Steve. Or Bat Steve. You know the Bat Steve? Hey, Steve.
Yeah, that Bat Steve.
The bat speed Dean was talking about. I mean, that adds up. Right? I mean, he's just late.
Still a Triple Crown guy, though.
Still a Triple Crown
guy. He is a Triple Crown winner.
He's got 100 games left
to get that
Triple Crown.
Somebody tell me. Is it incorrect?
Yes.
He's not that guy anymore.
He has won.
He has the capability to turn it around a little with low expectations. Is CC Sabathia still around?
Yeah, exactly. He was a Cy Young guy.
He's a Cy Young
still
guy.
Got it in him.
He's got it in him.
If
his shoulder doesn't go out, he's throwing mid 80s.
Where's Babe Ruth these days? Is he a free agent?
What about Barry Bonds?
He's a big home run guy.
With that said, I guess we'll see how things go. 100 games left, something like that. So, one thing I did see this week, I saw something on Lions Wire that Big V was at OTAs, and I guess he's looking good, which that'd be nice, right?
Yeah.
If
I always thought he was a solid guard if he stays healthy.
Great for Vaitai. He showed up to OTAs. He was able to work out in shorts. Good for Vaitai. Give me 10 games, Vaitai, and then I'll be excited for you. How many games has the guy even played?
I'm not sure.
Not many.
Yeah.
Not many.
But when he's
Hey,
played,
dude,
he's been
he
good.
usually shows up to OTAs because nobody's really hitting him. The guy is good. Like, I'm not taking that away. The
Solid
guy is
guard.
good. Yeah. The guy's good, but every year since we got him, I feel like we're waiting on Vaitai to come back and complete this amazing offensive line, and he's always out. Now, other guys get hurt also.
Yeah.
You know, it always hurts when we lose Ragnow.
Yeah.
And he's got a
gets hurt.
perpetual toe situation, but
He gets hurt for at least
Vaitai
one or
seems
two
like
games every year.
yeah, it seems like Vaitai's gone like all the time.
Do you think if he stays healthy through training camp, is he the starter then?
It's tough because Glasgow is also a solid starting caliber guard, at least a bridge type of guard. I mean, I think Vaitai, I think they give him the job just because he's been on the team, with them pretty much the whole time,
I mean, he's been there as much as
But I think he's going to get hurt,
Glasgow.
and it'll be Glasgow's job anyway. So
For sure, man.
I think that's how it'll go.
I mean, that's the thing we can count on with the coaching staff and all the things they got going on is like they're going to play the best guy.
Yeah.
So like if Vaitai is showing out, I mean, they're going to play Vaitai. If Glasgow is showing out, they're going to play Glasgow.
Yeah.
But I mean, in general, I think Vaitai probably overall, when they're both 100% healthy, is probably a better offensive lineman, but not by much. But I think he's probably better. He's just a more, physical type of guy in there. And Glasgow is also, but Vaitai could be an all pro if he was available all the time.
Yeah.
But he's not. So I think if they're both healthy going into the season, it's probably Vaitai.
I would think I would think it probably would be too, because then you could have Glasgow be the backup to Ragnow and Vaitai.
Yeah, because of the versatility with Glasgow
and Joan Jackson, really,
for sure. Yeah. 100%, dude. I mean, it was kind of like when we talked about Aquara and Houston. It's like no matter where you go, you feel good about that depth. Yeah. If one of those guys are there, you're gonna be like, okay. If one of those guys goes down, you feel pretty good about what you got coming in behind.
Right.
And I mean, not to take a big crap on Logan Stenberg. I mean, he's okay. He's a serviceable guy too. Yeah. I mean, he can step in and play. I mean, you don't want him for the whole year.
No.
But he can come in and play a couple games and hopefully get a guy healthy and come back in and you feel like you didn't lose a ton.
Right.
I was wondering about was Skip. Where the hell's Dan Skipper? Yeah, he's a free agent right now. I was like,
I think he was just on a 1-year deal.
Well, he always is. He perpetually does not make a 53-man roster.
Yeah,
like I think almost every year. No, even then he gets cut when they make the 53-man roster, and then he gets like signed to the practice squad. Then gets elevated up.
And then he played.
It's like his curse, man. I don't know.
Maybe he'll get a contract this time around.
Maybe. I mean, they haven't signed him now.
Or if nobody signs him, guess who's coming back to the practice squad, baby?
They're just waiting on it.
Exactly. They are. They're just.
He'll be one of the first practice squad guys they sign if he's still available and interested.
That and your boy Tom Kennedy.
I was wondering what you guys thought about. Are they looking at Sorsdal to fill in that guard? Is that the kind of guy he is, or is he like a tackle? I mean, I think his size is tackle, but playing from William and Mary, it's like a lot of the time those like elite tackles in the lower conferences or divisions, they project as guards.
Yeah.
So I
don't know. I would assume just a versatile type of guy. I mean, that's usually what you draft for depth, right? It's just guys that can play multiple positions on the line.
I mean, who's Sewell's backup right now?
Is it Nelson?
Skip.
It's probably Sorsdal.
Yeah, it's probably
Probably.
him right now. Yeah,
That's what I mean. That's what I'm thinking too, man. I just
or
I don't know.
Decker's
I was
backup
curious.
because his contract will be up here soon.
I would think that Decker's backup is Sewell.
And then
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, we're at a point where it's like we don't even know if when Decker's contract is up, if he's going to be back with the team.
He's a Dan Campbell dude, though.
I think he's got.
Oh,
2
you know
years.
what? Hey, he's been a big Lions guy, you know, grit guy, Campbell guy. You know, you love it about him, and
Ohio
especially
State,
since
baby.
Ohio State. You know, that's Bill got a Buckeye tattoo on his behind.
He's a
Just for
lion.
Decker.
He's a
a
lion.
lion.
He's a lion.
It's kind of funny. Well, I say that about like, you know, Hutch too. It's like
Right.
For
a
sure.
couple of years ago, I wouldn't care if he had walked away from football forever. And now it's like, dude, I'll take an oncoming Mack truck for the guy, you know, just to make sure maybe we can win a game.
Yeah,
you know, now I love the guy. I freaking love the guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just wonder if Decker will be back because it depends on what he wants. Because his value is going to start going down. You know, he's just getting up there. We got Sewell. So it's like, you don't have to have him,
right.
you know, to be good moving forward. In fact, we're probably upgrading at left tackle when Sewell moves over.
Right.
So, you know, that's tough, man. Because I like Decker a lot now.
Yeah. No,
He's been.
I mean,
through
and
it, you know?
he played really well last year too. You know, there's not really
No doubt.
And I don't know. I think depending on how they do during this season, then do you know when his contract's up? I have no idea.
I think it's 2 years. I think he's got 2 years left this season.
I mean, in the
next
next 2 years, they're a playoff. If they're a
sounds right.
playoff team, you know, he'll be in his he'll be 31, 30, something like that.
I think, yeah. I think
And
he's 30 right now, I think.
I mean, if they're like, well, you know, we'd love to keep you, but we're not going to pay. I mean, it's obviously well known that Brad Holmes won't overpay for anybody.
Right.
Well, you know, whether he likes them or not, that, you know, hey, you can stay, but this is what we're going to give you.
Right.
I think he might stay just because of Dan Campbell. I mean, Campbell's already, you know, I've seen where Campbell's like, I've been calling him during the off season, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Hey, man.
He's been there the
I'd love
longest.
it.
Right.
Dude, you know, you'd got to love it if he did and stayed. Yeah, I think that sounded right, Dean. I mean, 2 years, because I mean, they did a new deal a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So
I
at
think
least
it was
at least a
thing.
4 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that makes sense. You know, I don't know, man. I like the guy. It's just like, that's tough because it's business.
Yeah.
You know, trying to separate that. It's like going back to the Miggy conversations. Like, well, it's business now. Like, we're also trying to win and stay at a healthy cap level. So I guess we'll see. I mean, you know, you feel like the way Decker talks that maybe a guy in his position normally would be able to ask for a lot more and maybe get it somewhere else.
Especially,
but that he might consider taking what maybe his actual market value at the time is.
Yeah. And you got to think he'll be in his early 30s still, and offensive linemen can play, you know, till they're like 40, pretty much like quarterbacks for the most part. You know what I mean? I mean 40's old, but, you know, like 38, 37. I mean, you give him a 4-year deal to let him finish out his career.
A lot of those dudes aren't like...
Somebody will pay him. You know?
A lot of those dudes didn't play left tackle for the Lions when they sucked. So,
but he was like the shining piece of that shitty.
That's what I'm saying. You know, he's got some miles on him.
Yeah, he does. He does. He's seen it.
Well, no doubt.
You think there's only 3 or 4 guys left from the Quinn Trisha era? Yeah, the 3 offensive linemen, right? Ragnow, Jackson, and Decker. And then what, Tracy Walker? And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
They got rid of Swift and Okuda. Olare is gone. I
yeah.
can't think of anybody else.
There's got to be some.
Well, it was Barnes drafted by?
That's the first name that popped in my head, but
I don't think
he
so.
may have been he was, I think, right in that first draft.
Yeah.
I think he was right in that first draft. There's a guy with a ton of potential that you're just like, man, why aren't you putting that together? Why aren't you putting that together? He's a big hitter, can be athletic dude. Like, he should be anchoring the strong side of that linebacking core on a regular basis, and he's just not getting it done. So it's like, I don't know what's up with that guy.
Who?
Like, he's got all the tools, and sometimes you see it
Derek
out there.
Barnes?
Oh, Derek
Yeah.
Barnes.
Barnes, yeah. And you see it out there sometimes, but it's like, then all of a sudden it just disappears.
Yeah.
You're like, where are you at, man?
You see
We need you to make that
flashes.
tackle on the running back. Yeah.
It's like a Nick Fairley situation where it's like you see it, but he's just not there all the time. And it's like, you
Well-
got the bursts of, the glimpses of talent, and then you're just, it's like,
Yeah.
That's all I can describe. Is just,
Speaking of contracts and speaking of
Oh, no.
speaking of contracts, DeAndre Hopkins. Been seeing some stuff on him and because the Lions have 24 million in cap space. What do you do if he was truly interested in Detroit? Does Detroit take him? Do they sign him?
I think it'd be pretty sweet, but I don't think they sign him. Maybe do a 1-year deal if that's what he wants.
Well, it'd probably be like 15 million.
Yeah. I mean, you could say they have a need at wide receiver too. So
I don't
you could
know.
say that.
That's the
That's all I'm
thing,
saying.
though.
You could say
Like,
that, but I mean, like I said, I think it'd be really cool because I like DeAndre Hopkins, but I don't see them doing that though. But maybe. You never know. Didn't think they'd draft Jahmyr Gibbs at 12 either. So they're full of surprises over there.
Yeah,
for sure. I don't know, man. It definitely depends on the deal. I wouldn't, anything more than 2 years, I think, is too much. I think he's gonna, you see those guys all the time, man. I mean, that guy has been the focal point of almost every offense he's been in, and he's taken a lot of miles. We were talking about Decker taking a lot of miles. That dude's taken all the miles. Think about all that time in Houston, dude. I mean, they had Owen Daniels. They were throwing to Owen Daniels and him. I mean, and Daniels was hurt half the time.
Was he there with an aging Andre Johnson? I mean, it doesn't matter either way.
I think so.
It was an aging.
I think he was.
Probably.
Right.
He was there for a minute, dude. I like it. I mean, he's an incredible talent. So it's like, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you want to put an all-pro, top of the line, sure-handed receiver on your team when our third guy is Khalif Raymond, Josh Reynolds.
Right.
Serviceable guys, but they don't hold
for the first
freaking match.
Even at like 85%, DeAndre Hopkins is still way better
world
than those
better.
guys.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not a knock on those guys. It's a really a testament to DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
But 1 year, 2 year after that, I don't know. And who knows? He'll probably go on to play another 7 years at all pro level or something. I say that.
Right.
But
so if it was 1 year, 15 million,
I'd say yes.
It's dependent on if they signed him, I'd feel good about it. Right. I mean, if they signed him, I'd feel good about it. They've just built the trust. He's had some issues in locker rooms before too. So it's like, that's obviously the one thing you can't bring in.
Right.
Is a locker room problem when you have it seems like at least a very cohesive team inside the locker room.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, it'd be sweet, dude.
Yeah.
That'd be freaking
It'd be sick.
sweet. D-Hop in a Lions jersey.
I
Give me
might
a
buy
break,
that jersey.
man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hang it right next to my Rougarou.
Right next to the Rougarou jersey.
Right next to whatever,
Both
hung up
framed
right
on the
behind
wall. One signed by Rougarou, one signed by D-Hop.
one signed by the guy that ran the ride.
You do a jersey swap with the Rougarou guy?
That'd be awesome.
Oh, dude,
Dreams
wouldn't that be
completed.
though? I mean,
That
that'd be
would
an
be the
amazing
funniest thing
picture.
ever.
That'd be an amazing photo. You guys both shirtless,
Just-
holding each other's jerseys at Cedar Point. He's got his Rougarou. You're holding a D-Hop jersey.
The Diop.
Fair trade. They're probably about the same price if you go
Yeah,
back to your
no
point.
kidding.
price.
Dear Lord, that's not right.
No kidding.
Rougarou is way more valuable.
Way
Yeah.
more. For sure.
Well, you guys have any other line stuff you want to add to that?
The D-Hop's coming to Detroit.
Just line
No.
stuff overall before you move on? No.
Stuff in
Uh,
general, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm good with 1 year. And if they were to sign him, I think it'd be 1 year. Honestly, they're
It'd
kind of
probably
known
be
for
a
the 1 year
2.
deal too.
It'd probably be a 2 with like the option, right? So
Right.
it'd really be a 1, but they would
Right.
want to report it as a 2. It's like an optics thing, man, anymore. Like, oh, we signed him to 3 years, but it's really 1 year.
Right.
All the
with
money's
a
up
2-year
front,
option.
though.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. But yeah,
All right.
I'm
Well,
with you.
then, yep. Yeah. We kind of wanted to talk about it last week. We're going to talk about it today. Michigan MSU football. We can do some predictions and just your thoughts. And let's be honest, you guys are more apt for Michigan State than I am. I don't know who's left Michigan State. You know what I mean? I did do a little back research, but I know a lot more about Michigan than I do them. Like Dean was telling me earlier today, he was like, "Yeah, they lost 4 starters," and I'm like, "Oh, geez." It kind of changes my outlook. Yeah. So, I think we'll actually start with Michigan State, and we can just
let's
go
start with
and,
Michigan, man. Let's do Michigan.
Okay.
Let's tear up that Michigan. I think Michigan's easier to kick off.
Yeah, that's fine.
I do.
Yeah. All right.
I really do.
Well, then go ahead.
Let's unfold with Michigan State.
I just got some issues. That's all. Michigan. All right. I the record prediction. I have it 10-2. I don't mean 10-2. I mostly mean 11-1 because they're probably gonna lose one to Penn State or Ohio State. Probably. I would guess like any year you would guess lean more towards Ohio State, and that's based off of not much knowledge other than it's Ohio State, even though it's at Michigan. PSU, but Michigan's at Penn State, and I think that's what gets me.
Yeah.
But how good is Penn State going to be? You never really know.
Right.
You don't.
I always feel like you never know how good Penn State's really going to be because they're like a lot of the big name teams, other than they're like just a shade under. And it's not I compare them to Michigan. Over time, not the last couple of years, but in general, because typically they both get built up really big, and then you never know. I mean, the season goes that one of their seasons doesn't go the way they had predicted.
Right.
I mean, because they get high end talent, so obviously they get ranked high. They usually got good coaches. They got all that stuff going. I mean, it makes sense. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. I'm just saying that it can be a crapshoot with those guys. So I don't know. I just, not to be a hater, don't want to say OSU's going to win at Michigan, but the bill's going to come due here pretty soon. I don't know how many times in a row. I don't think Michigan goes on a streak that Ohio State did, against Michigan.
Yeah. I mean,
So it's like, but it's at home.
right.
They're replaying their whatever song. People will be all excited. Mr. Brightside, whatever. They'll be all yanking each other off in the stands, jumping around to Mr. Brightside, and maybe that's gonna be enough. It probably will. But the thing is, that's why it's like OSU is always easy to pick, because they get top of the line NFL talent. They already have top draft picks for next year on the roster. I mean, I don't even know who the quarterback's going to be, but they're throwing to Marvin Harrison's kid.
Right.
And that kid's a stud.
He's got some talent. Yeah,
he's top of the line talent. So I don't know. I guess I really have them at 11-1, and it could be a flip flop. It's so tough to go undefeated that it's hard for me to ever predict anybody undefeated.
Right.
And so that's kind of where I got. Not being a hater, if that sounds like, I don't know, but
I don't think 11-1's hating.
I've talked to some Michigan fans before that would say that's hating. We won't lose. We don't lose.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not everybody. I'm just giving crap, whatever.
Right. Yeah, it goes for every team though. You know what I mean? Unless you really suck. And then it is what it is, but
I don't know what you're getting at here.
I'm not.
A little undershade or
yet.
I'll show you some undershade.
Dean, what do you think? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I have them at 11-1 as well. I don't have a specific game that they'd lose, but I do think they'll lose a conference game at some point, which obviously probably points more towards, like Eddie said, Ohio State, Penn State. Could be any one of those, Michigan State even, because usually just those rivalry games are just, I mean, it's not going to be Michigan State. but
I mean, I would put them more likely to lose at Nebraska than at Michigan State. I would put them more likely to lose at Minnesota than Michigan State.
I said a conference game.
You're right.
Any conference game.
UNLV could upset them before I think Michigan State. Where do you got them, Bill?
Well,
yeah, undefeated. Because they won't lose.
They can't lose.
I'm not okay. So let me preface this with saying, I'm not saying they can't lose, and they probably, if they're going to lose, it'll probably be, like you said, Penn State or Ohio State. But I think it's more likely to be Penn State because it's at Penn State. That means they still have something to play for come Ohio State. And I can't go against them at home against Ohio State. I mean, obviously, as we get into college football season and we can do, picks every week, that'll be adjusted.
Well, sure, there will be an adjustment for sure.
I mean, the offense is pretty much still at its core together. Probably be even better with Corum back, Edwards back, McCarthy, Cornelius Johnson. Their offensive line, they're still going to be as good, even though they lost their Olatami. Their defense will still be good. They really haven't. Their linebacking core is really good, but that's not to say they're untouchable. College football. Very rarely do you have an untouchable.
They could
team.
Run the table.
Well, I have them.
I
have them running the table. I have them at 13-0, and it's not. That's okay. I guess you could call it being a homer, but I mean, when I look at the way the schedule's set up, besides Penn State, like you said, if they can get past Penn State, I think they can beat Ohio State at home, and then they'll play. I hope they play Iowa and play Cade McNamara, so we can shut him up. No, I mean,
they don't have Iowa on the calendar, do they?
No, they don't. I mean, good for Cade. He had to go somewhere to play, but I do have him going 13-0. I mean, the way that team's set up, the way they played last year, I think they're just as good this year. But again, not full homer. We'll never lose again. Da, da, da. You know, they could easily lose at Penn State. They could easily lose to Ohio State. And really, if we're being honest, they could lose to Michigan State. That's not out of the realm of possibility. You know, I mean, it's a rival. You
What is
can't
the
see a
bus
rivalry.
crash on the way to East Lansing? Is that what happened? Yeah, you know, you're right.
You know what?
We'll take.
We've
We'll
seen
take the
bad
fourth.
Michigan State teams beat Michigan before when they were good.
It's
and
pretty
East
rare.
We've
Lansing-
seen it.
It's
East
pretty
Lansing, you
rare.
play 60 minutes in 1 second. So,
Very rare.
you know.
There's been studies done on that.
You know what? So we'll just, like I said, I think they'll go 13-0. Whether that happens or not, you know, obviously, like I said, they could easily be 11-1, 10-2.
I'll tell you what, that doesn't make you a homer at all, because you're talking about a season where they beat Ohio State and made the playoff, and they're returning a ton of people.
Yeah.
I mean, top of the line guys. I mean, you start with the running game, and what's that center? What's it? I can't pronounce his name. Olululu.
Yeah,
You know what I
he's
mean?
gone.
Like, there's a lot of O's.
Yeah,
I know
he's
that.
gone. He's gone.
He's
but
gone.
they
There's a
ended
lot
up
of
getting a
O's.
transfer from Stanford. Drake
So he's smart.
Nugent. Yeah. Well, he's also PFF's top returning center.
I mean, that makes
So,
senwhat
You know,
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to replace a guy like that with, you know, Skipper's, you know, second cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Bobby Skipper.
that's why Michigan gets put
Bobby
up there every
Skipper.
year. It's not for
Right.
nothing. They got the
Right.
number 2 recruiting class, don't they, coming in? Something like
yeah.
that.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, why wouldn't they be? They should be up there.
And
They
you gotta
got-
take you gotta take it as you can right now, right? Like as a Michigan fan, like after the last past decade, hey, I'll I'm gonna try to say 13-0 as much as I can because it can go the other way. So
Oh, for sure. No, I don't think that's not this year. That's not a homer pick at all. I don't think. I mean, you can justify it.
right.
You know, you can justify that, and especially with OSU at home, you know, that's the one people would be like, okay, come on, guy, but it's at home.
Right.
You just beat them twice in a row.
Right.
That's the one. That's the only reason it gets me. If it hadn't been twice in a row, I'd be way less likely to choose Ohio State to win at Michigan. But it's just because of the numbers, not because I think OSU is overall way better or anything like that. It just one of those things. It's a huge rivalry, you know, the biggest in college football. You know, you could put it. I mean, I would say so. People would argue Alabama, Auburn, but that's only because of hatred. But it's not usually as big, like ranking wise. You know, what's on the line, stuff like that. I mean, the only thing that's on the line is Alabama maybe not making the playoff. Like Auburn's usually not going to make it.
Right.
You know, which could take you to Peyton Thorne, who's going to be their quarterback next year. But
where at?
Whatever, man. Auburn.
Oh, that's where he went.
Yeah.
Wanted to show
let's-
stuff in the SEC.
Let's
Yeah, like no, dude.
Good for him. He's definitely SEC quality.
Well, then let's get into MSU. With that said, you know what, I can go first because, like I said, I don't know that much about MSU. From what I've looked up, I had them at 7-5. I had them losing at Iowa, Michigan, at Minnesota, Ohio State, and Penn State. But I also actually had them before that at 8-4. But so it could go either way. I think they could go 8-4, but that's just based off what I saw. I did look up Mel Tucker in away games since he's been at MSU, and he's 6-8 at MSU. But when MSU lost to Purdue in 2021, they've been 1-7 since. So Purdue was the first loss in that 8-game span, and they were 1-7 in away games.
Interesting.
Then the wins were the one was at Michigan, One was at Miami. That was the 11-2 year. Rutgers, Indiana, Illinois, Northwestern. So there's not a
Murderer's
lot
Row.
of there's not a lot of big games where he's won away, right? So I think they always have a hard time with Minnesota. They play, at Minnesota. Um, the reason why I went from 8-4 to 7-5 was because of Penn State, and I think if they were playing in East Lansing, then I would have probably had them at 8-4. But now they're playing at Ford Field, and from what I've read, where they weren't honoring the season ticket holders in East Lansing, so now that becomes who's got the money to buy it? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's that much closer from East Lansing, but you have a better chance of being a Penn State fan getting into Ford Field than you do at Spartan Stadium. So essentially, I think it might end up being a neutral site game. At that, I mean, technically it is a neutral site, but I don't know. I mean, Michigan State travels well, but so does Penn State. So I don't know why they moved it to Ford Field. I have no idea.
It's interesting.
Go ahead, Dean.
I'll let you.
Yeah, I'll go.
So yeah, I have them at 7-5. That they could be 8-4. I just look at Iowa's a tough place to play. Regardless, like I said, Mel Tucker's 1-7 in his last 8 away games. So, and those losses, one was to obviously Washington last year, which I mean that's West Coast, but Maryland, Maryland, who knows? Maryland, is Tua's brother still there?
Probably.
I think he is. I think Tua's brother is still the quarterback at Maryland.
I think so.
Anyways, so
I know his brother just transferred out of Clemson.
Okay,
he's getting a fresh start somewhere else, but
could have been us.
I wish it would have been.
So yeah, I have in 7-5. So Dean.
Sorry about that. Well, I after looking at their schedule, like I do think that the first 4 games are winnable games for them, even with all the questions at obviously a quarterback, wide receiver, probably some on defense as well. They should still beat those teams. I mean, but I have them going 15-0 national champs. So,
oh yeah,
let's go. We don't need Peyton Thorne. Who needs him?
We don't.
Nobody.
I don't think we do.
Auburn did.
But apparently they did.
Apparently he's good. No, if the first 4 games goes as planned, I do see them going, like you said, Bill, probably 7-5. I don't see them. I see them starting off 4-0 and then just kind of falling off to the better teams in the conference. Short and sweet.
You have the floor.
Yeah. Well, all right. So let me say I have them at 5-7. I almost slipped into 4-8. Disappointed, to say the least. All right, I'm not. Okay, I got them losing to Washington. Penix, he's supposed to be a top first round guy all of a sudden, and he tore us up last year. If he's healthy, he beats us. Losing at Iowa, loses against Michigan, lose at Minnesota, lose against Indiana on the road. I bet we lose to Indiana on the road. Why not? Why wouldn't we? So 5-7. And I'm just to tell you, I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed, man. And it starts with the garbage can that's Kevin Warren. Okay? I know this is beyond just the schedule, but this is because of him too. You saw that the Big Ten's having to pay back money, right? Because of his crappy deal. And I don't know if it's because he didn't know or because he just didn't care. Either way, it sucks. Like, we got to pay back $40 million to Fox, the conference does, because he gave away the 2026 Big Ten Championship to NBC when he didn't have the rights to do so. So we got to give them $40 million. $25 million lost revenue because of the COVID season, which is whatever. I mean, it is what it is. And an unquestionable amount of money because NBC wants November primetime games, which is where this comes in for Michigan State. NBC wanted primetime games in November. And originally and throughout time, the Big Ten has had an unspoken, what they call tolerances, which is they don't play night games in November. You just don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So who got reached out to? Michigan State. But you don't see that in the article. They say Ohio State and Penn State made concessions. Because you know why? Because Michigan State, people are upset when it never bothered me that much, the little brother thing. Okay? At this point, I think little brother is a compliment. I think that's a compliment because we're more like the, cousin-in-law that's drugged out asking you for $3 and a freaking menthol cigarette at the family reunion. If you got one. If you got one on you. That's who we've become, dude. We're not a little brother. We're hardly in the family. We roll over for the Big Ten every single time. We're playing freaking Ohio State at 7:30 p.m. in November at Ohio State. That's akin to the goat getting lowered into the Tyrannosaurus Rex cage in Jurassic Park. We're the goat. Okay? And that's on national TV in front of everybody. We're going to get freaking trashed. And they said Ohio State made the concession? You kidding me? They're not making a concession. They're just putting an ass whipping on us in front of everybody in the world. And the reason that happens is because of Kevin Warren, who made this deal because Fox has to have their big noon kickoff. You know what other games on that week that would be much bigger and much better than that? Michigan and Penn State.
Right.
They're playing that at noon because it's the Fox Big Ten kickoff. So they had to put a sacrificial lamb into the 7:30 p.m. slot. And it's us. It's MSU.
Well,
getting slaughtered. Who else is on? Let me see.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be at least a little interesting.
Right.
Maybe Maryland at Nebraska. That's cross, at least that brings East Coast down to the Midwest a little bit. They could be okay at that time. Michigan State's probably not going to look good already. So it's just to showcase Ohio State. That's my point here.
Right.
And Northwestern at Wisconsin. Sometimes Fitzgerald gets a little something going in Northwestern. Maybe they sucked last year, but you never know. Wisconsin doesn't have anything going. Minnesota at Purdue. I mean, that could be an interesting game.
I would argue, though, that Michigan State is a bigger name than the rest of those teams.
They are. Yeah, not right now, but not after that.
I mean, the Spartan brand is pretty.
We're going to look like Indiana
after
that. At this point. And then we get to the last week of the season where I had them at 5-7 at the end of the year, which going into that game, they'd be 5-6. Again, the Big Ten Conference needed a concession to be made. So we moved our game at Spartan Stadium to Ford Field on Black Friday at 7:30 p.m. where nobody's going to freaking be there. We're not going to fill it out. The students aren't there. Our players don't even get to be at their home stadium, get ready in their own locker rooms. We got to travel to play against Penn State to potentially make a bowl game. We got to travel to Ford Field to play them on a neutral field against Penn State. They're like, Penn State, yeah, that's not a concession. They get to play the last game of the season, which could be super important for them, not at their opponent's actual field. Like, dude, why are we rolling over? You know what else is on that? Are you going to ask that?
No. What I was going to say before you go there. I mean, what if Michigan State? We'll say Michigan State proves us all wrong, and they're going into the last week of the season looking for a Big Ten championship. Now you're not playing at home where your
That's
home field
another yes,
advantage is. You know what I mean?
100%, man. That's exactly what I'm
believe it.
saying. You're gonna. We have cement with this. Michigan State has cemented themselves as a tier 2 football program in the Big Ten. We're rolling over. Michigan would not do this.
No.
Ohio State ain't traveling to frickin' Cleveland or Cincinnati to play an end of the year game, a big game, potentially big game, on somebody else's field. And you know what? They said no. They would say no. You don't think NBC would rather have Michigan or Ohio State or somebody else? Of course they would. But Michigan State rolls over, and it's a history of us rolling over. You go back to 2020, just in basketball, where we waited around for like Michigan and other teams to get their guys ready during the COVID season so they could have a full roster when we played them. Do it for the Big Ten. Hey, we love the Big Ten. We're all about the Big Ten. But then we have a shooting at our school last year, and Rutgers or the Big Ten can't be bothered to reschedule that game. What the hell? But you know what? You need a sacrifice on primetime for NBC for Ohio State. We got you. We're there for you. You need us to move our game from our home stadium? Get our ass kicked by Penn State? You got it.
What other games are on that night?
Iowa at Nebraska.
Isn't there
Wisconsin at
NFL
Minnesota.
games going on Black Friday this year?
No, man. I don't think so. Maybe.
I thought that was a thing. Or maybe that was just college. Maybe that's what I heard.
I'm just saying. The only way people are there is if they do some kind of frickin' Black Friday deal for tickets. You know, get in line early, get a $2 ticket.
We going?
2 free tickets with a 20-ounce Pepsi.
Something.
Maybe some Burger King coupons.
Oh no, man. Super disappointed.
Yeah.
They gave up. They rolled over, and we're giving it to the Big Ten because, hey, we're a conference school. We put up for the Big Ten. We love it. Last time Izzo, we're cheering on the Big Ten every year. Shut up, dude.
Do you think Michigan State's doing it for the revenue? Do you think they get more money out of it?
I hope so. They better get something other than getting their butts kicked.
Right.
Huh. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it could be an important game.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm like. That's why Michigan, Ohio State are the top of what we got in our conference, especially in football. And Penn State is usually right there. They'll play at least 7, if not 8 home games every year. Like you look at Michigan, usually they break it down, and we just went over it. They break it down to a 2-game schedule. Ohio State, Penn State, sometimes Michigan State. That's it. They're going to win 9 games at least. Usually.
Yeah.
Unless they, do, hot dog water coaches and Rich Rod. Other than that, you're probably good to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't do that because Michigan State won't stand up for it. They'll just roll over and just take it. So we don't even deserve to be freaking little brother. We don't deserve any of that. Which, I mean, I always thought that was kind of weird because usually the little brothers are more spoiled and get what they want, which I think is more relatable for Michigan than Michigan State. But I get the optics of it, like they're bigger and whatever. Yeah, it's true, Dean. You can do whatever you want, but it's true.
I didn't do anything.
I heard a noise. I was like, don't make a noise.
No,
I don't know, man.
When I saw that they were moving it to Ford Field, I'm like, man,
just giving up.
No, you made some great points.
It's just stupid, dude. Well, especially if they're having a good year.
Right. Well, and that's the kicker, right? Like they're at, is it going to happen? Probably not. But say they're at 10-1,
Right.
You're, you know,
Yeah, let's say.
yeah.
Let's throw that out there.
Let's say I grow wings and fly away.
Maybe they have another Kenneth Walker type of season, you know? I mean, that dude.
I mean, that's what
carried
it
them
takes.
all
Yeah,
over,
let's
man.
talk. Yeah, I mean, I
You
don't
know
even know
what I
about
mean?
Milk.
Like, they were supposed to be bad that year, and then Kenneth Walker just had the season of his life to carry them to what 11 wins that year.
It's 11-2, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, K9 was a miracle that happened to us.
That was a
out of nowhere.
miracle for sure.
So yeah, no, I get it.
Disappointed.
So, well, fellas, we're down to that time of the night where it's brand new segment time. Last week it was this or that. This week we've got whose or what is worst. So
Whose or what is worst?
yes. So I
Okay.
got looks like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5.
Okay.
All right. It's kind of a this or that, but it's what or who's worse. So first one I've got, who's worse? A slow left lane driver on the interstate or the oblivious slow golfer who just holds everybody up and you're playing a 5.5, 6 hour round?
It's tough.
I wasn't making it easy.
I think I'd rather wait. Who would I rather not have, or
Who's
who's more
worse?
annoying? Who's
Who's
worse?
worse?
Who's
the worst
Okay.
person?
The left lane slow driver. Golf,
agree
I can at
100%.
least sit back and enjoy, and have a beer, an adult beverage. Just enjoy the day.
Have you ever played a 6 hour round at Alpine? It is the worst.
I've played
thing
a
ever.
couple of 6 hour rounds though.
Because here's
I mean, it
but
could
that's
be
because you're
worse.
shooting 140. that ain't because of the
buddy.
person in front of you.
Drinking some beers and swinging some clubs.
No, I mean, think about it. The 6 hour round, right? The oblivious slow golfer who probably has the 5 kids out there missing the ball. And I'm all for taking your kids golfing. Like, I'm good with it. But get off to
Clearly.
the side.
Get these damn kids off my golf course.
I love it when the kids play golf.
Let people play through, you know what I'm saying? And dude, you don't play good golf because you have no rhythm whatsoever. So essentially you're paying $55, $60 to go out there.
I play bad golf. I get no rhythm.
yeah. I mean, I play
Don't
bad
knock me
golf
out of my
anyway.
rhythm, bro. I'm trying to shoot under
Yeah, dude.
130 today.
Trying to have a personal record today.
But by like hole 15, you're sitting there and like you're frustrated because you're you're not playing well. You're at 5 hours. I don't know.
For you, that's what I would choose for sure.
No, mine's the left lane driver.
No way.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
I drive for a living. They're the worst.
Well,
The
it's
worst.
true. I have seen you in a car upset.
I've gotten a lot better.
I would agree. I mean, the left lane.
Yeah.
I think it's just, you see, everybody's got to drive. And I think in general, you're like, I drive probably more than I golf.
For sure.
I mean, you guys do. I drive 2 hours a day.
Right.
Myself. So,
yeah,
I'm definitely left lane. I'm out. I can wait on the golf course. I mean, I suck.
Yeah.
I hate it when people are waiting on me.
Yeah, me too.
Somebody's
but you get off to the
somebody could be
side.
putting, and I'm in the fairway on the next hole and be like, I should wait. I should wait. No, they're flying right now. I got about 5 more shots before I make it to the green anyhow.
That's the worst when you think
You
you're
keep
like, I
looking
should
back,
wait. Yeah, you're like, I should wait for them to clear the green, and then you shank that shot, and you're like, oh. They're like, yeah, way to wait.
Oh,
for
when
it,
they're
dude.
like, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, go ahead.
No,
Like, please.
you don't have to take a stroke here.
All right. So next one. Who's worse? The mouth open eater, who's like that.
Where are you at in this situation? Just in general?
Okay. For this instance, we'll say you're in a living room. Well, we won't say living room because
Next to my wife.
Yeah, next to
and my daughter.
No, say you're at we'll say you're at a I don't know, someplace that's not like super loud so you can hear them. You know what I mean? Maybe a restaurant, you know, like
Okay. All right.
you're like right at it, whatever. You can hear them. It's out there. You can hear them. Or a person who stands too close to you in line. Who's worse?
How close?
Close to where? Why are you standing next to me right
Like,
now?
if you move a little bit, you scrape up against his crotch.
Are we face to face?
Almost, because that's what happened to me this
Are we
weekend.
facing each other or away?
This line is weird. We gotta...
Am I behind or in front?
It's a real nuts to butt situation.
Who's nuts? Who's butts?
You're
behind me? No,
behind you. Behind you.
I don't want any nuts grazing my buns.
Behind
Only
you.
if you move. Only if you move. He doesn't touch
You gotta stand.
You can't move backwards.
You're just clenched. No, I'm. Then it's the. I'll take. Yeah, that person's got to go.
Me too.
I don't want
I'm
crotch in my space.
I'm with you. It
What
happened
was
to me
the
this weekend.
I knew that's where they had to have come from.
Yeah. The mouth open eater,
Oh, mouth open eater.
they're kind of just as bad, but
I can stand the mouth. Yeah, the standing right behind me. I'm
This
like, dude,
dude-
what's your problem?
this dude was so close. to
And he's
me
so
the whole
close, he's
time.
breathing right in your nostrils. He's like, "What do you mean? What's my
No.
problem?"
Of course, I'm not.
Just waiting in
tall
line,
either.
dude.
Yeah. Oh, it upset me.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
next
bet.
one:
That's funny.
the interrupter or the one upper.
Why are you guys looking at me like that?
Um,
I feel like you guys are staring at me.
No, I always feel like you guys are staring at me. Of course, I can't tell because your eyes are all squinty. Freaking Asians.
That's a tough one too,
yeah.
because both can be annoying. I guess the interrupter's worse. Because the one upper, you're like, okay, whatever, man. You know, you hear it and you're like, all right, guy. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
Sure thing. Yeah, interrupters. Ugh, I can't take it.
Yeah, and it's constant.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, next up, what's worse, a Beets or Eggplant?
Ugh.
Beets. Beets. I mean, I think it's because I have emotional scars from Beets, but to me, it's Beets. I even tried Beets a few years ago, and some folks who may or may not listen would understand this. A lady brought these into work, and she had them jarred up. Like, these been sitting, bro. These Beets been sitting. And I'm like, you know what? It's been like 20 years since I tried a Beet.
Right.
I'll give it a go.
Still no, huh?
No. It tastes. It legitimately tastes like dirt if you rubbed it in some ass. Like, it was like, could I just get the plain dirt?
With a little bit of sugar on it, please.
Just, I mean, anything.
Could I just get the ass?
Yeah, that's on brand. That's on brand for you.
That's not bad. That checks out. Oh man, I don't know. I don't think I've ever actually had eggplant. Really, I don't think.
Really?
Maybe once, maybe.
They don't
I
serve
know I
that
don't
at,
like Beets though.
They didn't serve that at Denny's or.
No,
I could have
Maybe,
swore
I
there
don't
was a
know.
time that you were just buying raw eggplants and then
I wasn't
discarding them
eating those.
after a couple days.
Yeah.
You weren't eating those?
No. I was popping them in the freezer for a couple hours.
Oh. Ooh.
Oh man.
What about you, Bill? What
about you?
what'd you pick?
It's Beets, bar none.
I
They're
mean-
the girls. Kate loves them. My wife. I mean, you guys know my wife, obviously. Yeah, but I mean, to people watching, Kate loves them,
Sleeper?
and I'm just like, yeah.
Oh, don't give out.
And I just watch her eat them, and I'm just like, it's
just
like
just
someone-
gobbling the beets, huh?
Oh man, yeah, it's gross, but she loves them. You know,
I think food wise, we'll all agree. I think we all have similar dislikes on food.
All right, last one.
I think that's fair.
Which is worse? Which situation is worse? Your face accidentally brushing a hairy, sweaty armpit as you walk by, like just like
Random.
yeah, random, dude, yeah, yeah,
Like a long cane Polly
Oh.
style.
or
You got the wet.
yeah, or you're in a situation where you have to walk barefoot through a public beach restroom.
Barefoot.
Oh,
Public beach restroom.
oh,
You're trying to get
Oh.
athlete.
Because I feel like I've
huh?
done that. I feel like I've done that.
oh,
I don't know. I'm not a barefoot kind of person.
that just gives me the chills.
I don't know. I don't
mean,
want an armpit. Face.
Does it make you think
no.
twice? Yes. Because everything is wet.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, there's so many things I regret.
Yeah.
The AIDS I'm contracting right now.
It's soaking in the feet.
It's soaking in.
I'm really going to regret this, but it's better than the sweat slipping up my nostrils. I'm a
It's
some
just
dude
a-
smelly,
Am
nasty NASCAR armpit.
I gonna be playing
know
ball
he's
with
got
the
a-
boys? You know, and accidentally get a pit to the face, or
Hey, if
am
it's
I
one of
just,
my
like,
boys,
walking?
I would rather do that. If it's
Yeah.
somebody I know,
Yeah.
No.
Am I playing
It'd be like-
basketball?
It'd be like some dude on a 90-degree
you're at
day,
Michigan International Speedway.
MIS.
Michigan.
dude's
Speedway.
11 beers deep.
Eating spicy chicken bites. Oh man. Ugh. I guess the
Feel the
feet thing,
dirt and the wet between your toes
Oh,
I'd think I'd rather do that.
because
Than
you don't
have-
know. And there's a stench. There is a stench in those
there's
bathrooms
always a stench.
that make
There's
you
always
know
toys.
something bad happened.
Yeah, every time.
And you can't tell where it happened because everything is wet
I think
and it all looks the same.
not knowing is what makes me pick that, because I know there's a nasty armpit in my face from some random person apparently just walking down the street. You just go, ah.
No, like we said at MIS.
International Speedway.
From cheek to cheek.
Yeah,
His mouth open.
we're at MIS, and Kyle Busch just won. And this dude just went. "Ah."
Oh, yeah. Kyle Busch.
Just turned my head at the right time.
just a slow mo across the face.
There's hair in my mouth.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
Nah, dude, I'll chance it in the bathroom.
I'll
man.
I'll chance it in the bathroom too. Splish splash around.
there you know.
No, do I fall because I have no padding? No, I'm just like in the water in the bathroom. Just slip and fall in it.
Let me tell you an embarrassing story about that. It was like third grade. You go down to the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Is that grade? You guys know what I'm talking about? You go to like the fairgrounds for a day in elementary school.
Like a field day type of thing.
Yeah. It's like end of the year type of thing.
I think so. I don't remember.
I had to pee super bad. Okay, and I'm like, I gotta go. I'm like booking it to the bathroom. I don't make it. Pee, my pants covered. It's clear.
You
Right?
ain't
Oh
cool
no.
unless you pee your pants.
Yeah, I wish Anthem Sandler was there for that. No, so I obviously am like, I can't tell people I piss my pants.
Clearly.
And the bathroom floor is soaked,
Oh.
as it should be. So I said I slipped and did the splits. That's what I told people. I'm like, hey, I slipped, I did the splits, and look.
I thought you were gonna say you like dove into it or something.
Oh, I
Like,
should have.
no.
That would have
That
been a
would've
good
been so-
idea. That would have been a good idea.
Everybody's like, we don't think you're that flexible.
You don't know me, man.
You know what I mean? I'll do splits right now.
I'll do splits right now. It was a
But I
slip,
won't.
so it was an accidental splits. It wasn't.
Accidental.
I can do the splits. I don't know, dude. I was like 8.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, I'm like,
They
I gotta
believed
come up
it
with
too, didn't they?
something. I don't know.
believed-
Probably not. Maybe
You're like,
somebody might have.
Right.
The teachers probably didn't.
No.
Like this lying little Don't you want to go home? No, I just slipped. Why do you smell like piss, kid? Because it's probably pee on the ground.
It's probably a lot of pee.
oh man,
Oh, that's
that's good. So with that said, fellas, that's time. So
That's it.
I think next week we'll get into a little bit of MAC football predictions. Central, fire up chips.
Fire up.
Fire up.
That's tough.
Yep.
That's a tough one.
We'll give you a week to study up on your MAC.
I'm more.
I think we gotta.
wing it.
We got at some point we got to get into who we looking at NFL or NHL draft.
Yep.
See who's looking good there.
Yep. Pavlov.
Yeah. Rod Monovich.
Connor Bedard. Thank you.
Oh yeah, you got it.
That is the number. That's the number one prospect right there. That's right.
I knew you'd know this time, man.
And then that's it.
He's supposed
There's a
to be
guy
some
from
kind of
Michigan, too.
generational talent guy. That's the only reason I thought you might know.
Oh.
Last time, because like he's supposed to be like the guy, but whatever.
Next
We got to
guy.
get in to see should the Tigers move on, buyers or sellers.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get another weekend, see where we're at in the standings. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll be about a month out
Yep.
from the deadline. So
I'm looking forward to. It's a ways off, but I'm looking forward to football season and doing picks.
Pick'ems.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Lions all season, baby. I already told you.
oh man.
Automatic.
So
Hey man, if anybody out there is listening and wants to see us do the live stream for the Kansas City Thursday night game, we could interact. Let's do it. Let's do it. That'd be a lot of fun.
yeah.
Yep, I watch all the games naked. Just kidding.
It's been real weird the last one.
That's actually his OnlyFans channel.
Check out my
It'll
OF.
It'll just be Bill and I doing the live stream here. Dean will have his OnlyFans going. Those Lions games naked for $5. Who knows?
Pay a little extra, you can DM me.
So, all right. Well, it sounds good. Everyone, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're on Spotify, again, follow us on Twitter if you want at BD Sports Talk.
At BD Sports Talk. See us on Twitter.
Yeah. And sounds good. Well, fellas, have a good one, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for watching.
See you, bro.
Sports Talk.